Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Record with your host, Tone Vase. This episode is brought to you from Singapore. I am at the ByBit office, sitting here chatting with the CEO, Ben. How are you today, Ben?
Doing very well. Thank you for coming by.
We have met before. We were both in Hong Kong back in February for the Hong Kong Blockchain Week.
Yep.
There's a blockchain week somewhere in the world every single week.
Yep.
In fact, there's multiples now.
Yeah.
There's a blockchain week here in Singapore, and I'm sure there's a blockchain week somewhere else on the other side of the world, even this week. But we are here in Singapore. Lots of events going on this entire week. And I was at the CoinMarketCap event today. I'll stop by there tomorrow, then Block Show. But happy to take a break, and I came by to check out the operation of your exchange. And you guys have done a lot this year.
Yeah, we've done quite a lot and growing very fast. So thank you for the support of ByBit and our partners. Yeah, we have a huge responsibility on our shoulders to make sure we deliver the product. So working hard every day.
Yeah, no, we'll get into that. But before we get into the ByBit exchange, tell myself and our audience a little bit about you and what were you doing before getting into the crypto space. Let's start there.
Yeah, so I was in the retail Forex industry for a little bit around 8 years. So I actually ran a retail Forex exchange, and I was in charge of the general Asia operation. My forte is really at the client acquisition, making sure the product is suitable for retail traders. So this is one of the things that ByBit is also focusing on. We're focused more on the retail clients, making sure that they get good overall trading experience. And so running from that, and then I sort of got into crypto in early 2017. So I'm a very young guy compared to you. Yeah.
No, but you have experience in the real life trading.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how did you get into crypto in 2017? That was like the hype of the ICO bubble. How did you hear about it, and what caught your attention?
Yeah, so it was actually by a very good friend of mine. Right now, he is the managing director for eToro in Asia, Jasper Lee. So we're a very close friend because he was running FXCM for Asia operation, and we were competitions back in Forex time. But we sort of play poker, we drink together all the time. So there was one day, I think it was early 2017, we were drinking this whiskey bar. I remember so clearly because he got so excited.
Was this?
This was in Shanghai.
This
was in Shanghai. So he said, "Hey Ben, you know this whole crypto thing is getting very popular." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I heard about it, but I just really haven't been focusing on it because we have so many stuff in Forex happening as well." And he said, "Well, there's this new thing called ICO." And I was like, "What does it mean?" This is initial coin offering and all that. So at the end of the week, after he mentioned it to me, I did some research. I sort of immediately got hooked. And then at the end of the week, he managed to convince me to buy some, I think it was either Kick or some sort of initial coin token at the time.
Oh,
at the time, yeah.
I have tweets talking so much shit about that token, and then the CEO got into a lot of trouble,
So
you're still holding it?
I think I sold it, but I didn't make really much money. So my story was all these.
Hey, you made maybe if you made money, that's good because a lot of people lost.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still holding a lot of shit coins, so I'm not recovering from that yet.
But it's not influencing you which ones go on your exchange.
No. No, for our exchange, the product has to have good liquidity, which we can talk about it, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely will. Wait, so he was your friend. He was a I guess a competitor of yours in the exchange space at the time.
In Forex.
In Forex.
Yeah.
And now what is he doing these days?
He's the managing director for eToro.
So he got you into this space, and now you're competing with him again.
But I think, yeah, in another level, I guess. So it's very interesting. He was actually here yesterday, so we were just talking. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's how you heard about crypto, and clearly you've done a lot in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
By building this. So what made you decide? So when you worked, you weren't. It wasn't your company. You worked for a company.
Right. I was working for a
us.
company. Yeah.
So what made you? So is this the first company you started on your own? Is this your first entry into the entrepreneurial space? And I'm going to start my own company, and I'm going to build an exchange in crypto.
Yeah, this is actually my first, but I was very fortunate with my previous company, xm.com, that they gave me a lot of power to manage the whole region, um, basically the Great China area region, and I had a lot of experience. This where I gather how to run a company, how to establish a proper team to execute, to make sure that basically how to run a good exchange. So I had great experience from that. And for crypto, after basically Jasper, you've told me about all that, I did a lot of research. I was really hooked. So I was even a small time KOL because I was looking at the Chinese materials, and I found out there were a lot of missing information between the West and the East. So actually, I was sort of doing some project reviews at a time and try to move some material from the English speaking world to Chinese saying. And then after a while, I think this was just on my own hobby. So after about, I did that for like 6 months, and I was like, well, I'm really, I think this is going to happen. I think mass adoption will come into real life with crypto. And I want to definitely do something full time to this space. And what I'm good at is exchange. So that's when I started to look into margin trading and derivative tradings. And there was only BitMax and OKEX at the time. And this was back in February last year when I had the idea of funding and starting ByBit, looking for partners and all that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you felt that there wasn't enough company. I think Deribit was already around.
Deribit was around, but they only had options. So
I think they had the leverage futures as well.
leverage, I think Perpetual, they probably released early this year or something.
Okay,
End of last year.
Yeah.
So when I had the idea in March, there was really perpetual contract was only BitMax, and so I was looking at the product and I saw perpetual contract. I really loved it. I was like, one of the biggest issue I had, I think, was crypto, where it was manipulation and this sort of due price system. I think it was fixing the problem.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about manipulation, because like BitMax does get accused. I don't know how true that is, but BitMax does get accused of internally trading against their users. I haven't seen any direct facts to this, but they get accused of that constantly. I know we're jumping the gun. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the background, but how do you mitigate that? How do you convince your traders that you, as an exchange owner, and don't have like internal partners that get insider advantage on, you know, the stop losses and positions of other traders?
Right. I guess first is with product design. I think perpetual swap, because liquidation is triggered by mark price, but this is the same with BitMax. So I don't know how BitMax is running, but for us, we don't have an internal market making house. In the very beginning stage, how we built up our liquidity, we sort of copied the CME model. We had 5 seats of dedicated market makers, and we were offering them incentives on a monthly basis if they fulfill duties. So they were giving us, they have to fulfill the spread within certain time. And when they do that, they get a rebate. So in the very beginning, the biggest challenge for any new startup is exchange is liquidity.
Liquidity, absolutely.
Yeah. So we basically talked to so many market makers in the space. And it's really funny, there's so many market makers, calls them market maker, but they're not. So when you actually set the terms with them, these are the responsibility, these are the duties, these are the metrics we will look into. A lot of them will say no at the end of the day. So, but at the end of the day, we managed to fund our initial market makers to help us jumpstart the liquidities. And that's how we initially started. And right now, our retail base has grown very fast. So our market makers are very happy with all that.
Yeah, no, you guys definitely did, because when I met one of your co-founders in, I believe it was in Bangkok, early in February, and she was telling me all about the exchange. I mean, I've never heard of you guys, but then again, I'm not an active trader because of my current lifestyle. And you and I were on a panel together about a month later, And again, it was new to me. And for the last few months, a lot of people are talking about your exchange, and you guys are taking a pretty good chunk out of BitMax's liquidity. And I'm sure it certainly probably helped your exchange a few weeks ago when they had a little screw up with, well, I believe it was a disgruntled employee that shared the entire list of emails.
I'm not too sure exactly their operation. Yeah.
Which is, again, like, which goes to another question. The most important part of an exchange is providing confidence to their employees that their Bitcoin is safe, their data is safe, and that they're running a house that doesn't have these kinds of mishaps, because the crypto space is full of these mishaps.
Yeah.
And so far, you guys haven't had anything, and you even avoided a bad exchange price getting into your underlying index.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I think there was a Coinbase issue on which really screwed up the index price of a few exchanges. We were very lucky because just about 3 weeks ago of that incident happened, we updated our mark price. So we even announced the PR and all about that. So overall, what we did was auto removing the anomalies. So even though we were also taking weighted average of all these exchange, Coinbase, Bitsum, but if one of the price is all of a sudden jumps out, we will remove it for I think 30 to 40 seconds, and then we will check it again. So it's we learned our lessons from another incident which happened to ByBit. So we learned from our mistakes, and that incident was also because Kraken was sending us a wrong price feed, and that really screwed up our Ethereum price and the index, which caused a little bit issues. And we got to the bottom of it, and we reimbursed all the affected clients. But that was 2-3 months ago. Yeah.
So since you mentioned Ethereum, so what pairs are tradable on ByBit? Obviously, well, Bitcoin leverage, Bitcoin versus USD, but you guys don't hold USD. It's all Bitcoin, Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out.
Yeah.
The price reference is against the US dollar price of Bitcoin, but it's all leveraged within Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin USD pair with Bitcoin as the underlying asset, the Ethereum USD pair
with the Ethereum as the underlying asset.
With the Ethereum as the underlying asset.
Yeah, and also Ripple and EOS.
Ripple and EOS. As what's the underlying asset there?
Ripple is Ripple and EOS is EOS. So we use the native token.
So you use the native token. You don't use just the Bitcoin token and let people trade others with Bitcoin as the underlying token for making money.
No. So those will be quanto pairs where you use Bitcoin. But in the future, we are going to be releasing a linear contract, basically using a stable coin, most likely USDT. And you can use that as portfolio margin to trade all pairs, all 4 pairs that we currently offer.
Question. So why do you choose USDT? I'm sure we get a lot of comments throughout my channel. Like I'm one of the few people, like, I make fun of USDT like everybody else, but then everyone is convinced that USDT is what's like manipulating the Bitcoin market. I personally don't necessarily believe that. I've seen the evidence. It's not convincing enough for me. I'm a big skeptic. But why have you guys chosen USDT over other stablecoins?
I actually sent out a tweet, and simply there isn't many good choices. If we don't use USDT, you have USDC, I guess MakerDAO, but the liquidity on those pairs and the demand on these pairs are even much lower. And especially a big chunk of our clients are from Asia. And especially for Chinese market, for Asian market, people simply love USDT. And if you offer a USDC or a MakerDAO underlying linear contract, it would just be not popular. On top of it, is basically, I think Binance is the first one started the linear contract with USDT, and has shown very good growing demand. And we are getting a lot of requests asking us to release the USDT pair on the linear contract. So yeah, this is one of the reasons.
So for USDT, now USD exchange, how much USDT would you be holding? Or the answer is probably none. The users are holding that themselves.
Yeah, they will make a deposit, and then we will just have to hold it and do the withdrawal
on their behalf. So because we all know that USDT is now only 75% backed by US dollars, but the crypto market doesn't seem to care at all. And I've actually mentioned it on the show that even if the US government would go and confiscate the other 75% of the dollars underlying USDT, the Chinese might say, who cares? If we all agree that one tether equals $1,
right?
And we trust Tether, the company, not to print extra Tether, at least not as fast as the Chinese government prints Chinese money or the US government prints US money, USDT could be a better stable coin of the dollar than the dollar itself without being backed by the dollar. If you trust the Tether company to be more responsible with money printing, and then everyone's still happy.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is what the argument a lot of people are asking. I mean, I'm very skeptical. Actually, the team is a little bit skeptical about USDT. So I think what we're going to offer is, once we enable the linear contract, the product will be USDT based, but we'll also offer a coin swap between USDT and USDC, USDT MakerDAO. So if you're not comfortable with it, you can make a switch.
But I think the important part is that the exchange itself is not holding a bag of USDT, because that would be a potential big liability for the exchange. So you just let that onto the user, and if USDT goes to zero, it's unfortunate for the user that was holding USDT.
We hopefully this doesn't happen. Because this would be a disaster for the whole crypto industry, I think.
No, the crypto industry will take a massive hit. Though not necessarily, right? I think that there is enough insider information floating around that in the week or two before Tether collapse, some people will know, and they will just sell off all of their Tether and pile into Bitcoin. So a collapse in Tether could send the price of Bitcoin through the roof, because they'll buy Bitcoin at any price to get rid of their Tether, even at 20 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, probably. So that will be interesting to see what happened to the pair. Another interesting fact why we pick USDT is simply because liquidity. Liquidity providers or market makers, they are more likely to use a linear contract with USDT, where if I pick another pair, they won't really help to provide liquidity for us.
All right, so I know your exchange is pretty young. When did you guys launch? So when did you guys get out of beta? You remember the month?
December 1st last year.
December of last year. So it was right at the bottom of the market.
Actually, the first day when we went launch, it was the lowest point of DP2. So we actually had a little celebration with the team, because we worked so hard for like 8 months, 9 months, and we were like, okay, on the first day we launched, everyone shorted Bitcoin.
So if that was the bottom of for the next decade, you guys can say that we launched our exchange at the bottom of the 2018 bear market.
So I think now we're looking back, it's a very good time that we went through the whole bear market. So we started in March last year, and it took about 8 months to build the code from scratch. We didn't buy any code, and it was good because really sort of built a team, and everyone was trying to make sure the product is delivered. We wasn't focusing on the price. Also, at the time, the people we hired, they are true believers of the project or of ByBit. They're not just some people because Bitcoin is pumping and then they want to get a cut, So it was good time.
So speaking of team, so you guys are located in Singapore. But did you start out of China, or it was always Singapore?
The operation was always in Singapore, and the IT team is in Shanghai, and we have a customer support center in Philippines. So we're a little bit decentralized, but 3 places.
But you consider yourself a Singaporean company?
The legal entity is registered in Singapore.
In Singapore, okay. So a Singaporean company. Did you choose this on purpose because of the regulatory environment, and because Singapore, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Hong Kong. I love Hong Kong. I think it was an amazing example of, over 50 years of financial freedom, and we'll see what happens going forward. But, as much as crap people give to Singapore about some of their draconian laws, they have pretty good financial freedom. and pretty good, I don't want to say property rights as in your property, because property here is pretty scarce, but like your personal property, they do respect that. If you're storing your gold or silver in Singapore, probably one of the safest places in the world to store that in the vault. So was it the regulatory landscape that brought you here?
Sorry, I have to say we are registered in BVI, but the headquarters in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah? The reason we picked Singapore, number one.
BVI, British Virgin Islands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the reason we picked Singapore as our headquarters is because number one is becoming the hub of crypto. So all these conferences right now, there's CMC, CoinMarketCap, and also I think on Thursday starting Block Show. All these crypto events is happening. So we think it will be a very good place to meet people and open your door to. And secondly is our lawyers basically suggested is a very friendly, crypto friendly place. And I think they are issuing some sort of a stable coin and also some a fiat coin license. So I think our legal team is looking into and see if we can get a share of that. Yeah, so it's mainly because of these two reasons.
Yeah.
Friendly and also central hub for crypto.
Yeah, no, that's very good. And I always love coming to Singapore. As a lot of my viewers know, I stream a lot of videos from here. All right, I'm actually prepared questions this time. It's a little rare for me. I usually go completely random, but I guess too many flights. I wanted to be on point. So let's talk about the other thing that, well, you know what? I'm gonna mix it around a little bit.
Yeah.
So, so you've been, it's almost been a year, so about 9 months.
Yeah.
Have you seen any change? I know it's probably a little too early to ask this question. Maybe we'll do this interview a year from now. Have you seen a change in the 9 months in the crypto trader? Because one of the things that continues to worry me, and most of my videos are about the price of Bitcoin, and I've been very, very concerned this entire year with the fact that, like, I know I shouldn't use myself as a judgment point. I mean, maybe people don't want to watch my YouTube anymore or follow me on Twitter, but it feels like new people are not entering the space. Do you see more of traders are coming over to your platform from other platforms, or are you seeing a significant amount of new traders? Because to me, it feels like there has been, I think this was like the worst year for new people coming into the space. I think this whole price pump in 2019 was the result of exodus out of shitcoins. And none of this money is new mass adoption money. It's a little bit of institutional money, a little bit of big players are coming in, but very few. But I think the majority of it is internal money just moving around.
Right. I would say agree with you, yes and no. Yes, on the part that there are definitely new traders, not so many new traders coming from traditional or from what we've observed on ByBit that completely new to crypto coming into. But we've seen new traders coming in, but they are probably used to be altcoin holders. But this year has definitely been the year of leverage or margin trading. So we've seen a lot of new guys coming into ByBit and they don't know anything about trading. So one of the things we want to emphasize always is risk management. So learn how to trade. And as far as for our clients, I would say 40% are very new to derivative tradings. Even from the questions they ask to our customer support, what is a perpetual contract? What does this mark price do? Why is it triggering? What is the maintenance margin? All these things. So they are not used to this type of trading. And I would say 60% is probably coming from other crypto derivative exchange like BitMax and all these places. Yeah.
And the max leverage you offer is 100x?
100, yes. Yeah.
And do you offer it, because there is a difference between the 100x that Deribit offers and the 100x that BitMax offers. So BitMax allows you to put, like, you know, stop losses in place.
Yeah.
And Deribit kind of, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Are you guys more like BitMax or more like Deribit?
We actually have a unique system. This is why everyone, a lot of them switching to ByBit. ByBit is one of the only exchange allow you to set up your stop loss and take profit along your entry order. So you can actually set a limit order, and
as
only
you enter.
as you enter.
Yeah,
and,
that's a very good. My traditional brokers do that.
yeah, and only your limit order get executed. These two exit points would get put into your position. So you don't have to wait.
Oh, so you have like a one cancels other.
It tags along basically.
Right, but it's a one. So if I'm putting in an order,
right,
and then I also say, hey, take profit here and stop loss there.
Only when this order executes.
Right, it executes.
Yeah.
Once it executes, I have a take profit and I have a stop loss.
Yeah.
When one of those executes, the other one is canceled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually excellent, because in some of them, if one of them executes, the other one is still on the books, and you forget, and then it goes the other way, and you're screwed.
Yeah, first it will only, so if your initial entry order doesn't happen, these two will never come into play. Yeah. And second one is, what if one gets executed, the other one gets canceled.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you are looking to sign up and try out, and do you guys have paper trading as well? Do you have a test environment where people can trade with testnet, where people can trade with fake Bitcoin?
Yep, testnet.
You have that as well. Hey guys, if you're interested, please check out the video description. The links are all there for you if you wanna check out ByBit. So let's talk a little bit about. Well, you know what? Let's stick to the security side of things. So again, the most important part of any crypto exchange is, are the Bitcoins safe?
Right.
And what great lengths, we're not going to ask, obviously it's not right to ask in detail about your cold storage, but this is probably, was this the biggest problem you worry about? Was this what was keeping you up at night the most before launching the exchange? How do I make sure that we don't get hacked externally, and even more importantly, internally? It's those internal hacks that scare me more than the external hacks.
Right.
Can you share any information as to how you went about securing the Bitcoin of the exchange?
Yeah. So we use all of the clients' funds are stored in a multi-signature cold wallet, and only the founders have the key. It's a little bit hectic every day, because literally the founders have to approve and do the withdrawal.
Are you able to share how many founders there are?
We have 4 founders.
There's 4 founders.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's more like something like a 3 to 4 multi thing. I'm not gonna, don't answer that.
So we cannot take plane at the same time, basically.
Yeah. Speaking of playing at the same time, so when I worked on Wall Street, so here's the funny part. So in one of the companies I worked at, so they had this thing called Fun Day.
Okay.
So they would give you the day off.
Right.
And you're supposed to do something fun with your coworkers. So you're supposed to submit a proposal to HR.
Okay.
And you're supposed to find at least 9 other coworkers with you to go and do something together, right?
Yeah.
So it's a minimum of 10 people. So you gotta get 9 coworkers. You submit a proposal. Hey, we want to go, I don't know, rafting for the day. That was actually what we did. That was my suggestion. That's what we did. Hey, we want to go fishing for the day, right? And the company gives, it's one day, everyone takes the day off. And they give you $100 a person. And then you pull it together and you put that activity towards something fun. If it's more than that, then you pay the extra. So we wanted to go skydiving, right?
Okay.
So here's where it failed, because there also was a rule that X amount of people from the same department cannot be on the same plane. They didn't care that it was skydiving. Like they don't care that you're jumping out of a plane.
But they care about the plane.
But you can't be on the plane at the same time.
No. That's one of the hard rules of, especially for crypto. I mean, all these multi-signatures, you have to have the right amount of keys. Otherwise, it's forever lost. So yeah, we lose a lot of efficiency for manual work to make sure all the coins are secured. For the internal part, we actually just got in one of our head of security director is from Ping An Group in China, one of the head insurance firm in I guess in China and in Asia. So he was the head of security for many years. So he's just joining in. We haven't made any PR announcement yet, but I guess I'm making it here. He just joined last week, and he will help us to strengthen our internal all the policies, Wi-Fi usage, PC authorities, and all that to make sure that there's no internal issues and all that. Yeah, very important.
That's very good. So do you pay out once a day as well?
3 times a day.
3 times a day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So the co-founders have to be on a call 3 times a day.
I wake up every day to
Oh, boy.
very early.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know BitMax does it once a day and it works for them.
Yeah.
So you guys pay out 3 times a day.
Yeah, we got
So the
3 times a
co-founders
day.
have to get on a video call three
Yeah.
times a day.
Yeah.
Oh, man, hard life. But yeah, so what is the life of a CEO like of an exchange? I mean, I'm sure you've been working a lot of hours.
Yeah. So I guess I lose a lot of family time, especially this year. I think I was telling you for the first half of the year, I was literally in the office all the time. Mostly I focused on internal management, helping to grow our middle management, make sure that all the procedures are in place, make sure that everyone is executing our company culture. We always say we put our clients first, but how do we execute it down to daily operation? Also into their KPI management, KPI assessment and all that. So I focus a lot on internal things. And then, but luckily I have a bunch of great founders to help me on different areas. So it's definitely not one man show. I cannot do it one man, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, you're going to like this comment.
Okay.
Crypto Chronic says, I love ByBit, so much better than BitMax.
Thank you.
Not a plan. Hey, guys, if you do have questions, throw them in here. But I'll try to keep an eye on the live chat. But I also get a lot of complaints. Tone, you don't look at the people you're interviewing. Well, unfortunately, I don't have anyone going through questions, so I'm gonna have to do 2 jobs. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the regulatory structure. I kind of have to because on this YouTube channel we have the Bitcoin Law Review, which is a regulatory focused show. Now, I've had this back and forth with the crypto and the libertarian community and the anarchist community, and even my own good friends of mine that are on my show over the regulatory space. Some people think that I want maximum regulation, and I kind of think that I don't. Because what I want will never happen. Here's what I want.
Right.
I want exchanges or pretty much anyone that is either soliciting money or responsible for other people's money. I want those companies or people to be regulated 10 times harder than the current regulatory environment, whether it's the crypto space or traditional space. On the flip side, I want the users of those companies to be regulated 10 times less than they currently are. So I don't want the user regulated. I want the company regulated. I want to make sure that the regulator is sitting at the office, making sure that you are not going to steal my Bitcoin.
Right.
That's what I want. But I don't want the regulator to KYC me and watch everything I do. I should be able to do whatever I want with my money. But the person responsible for my money, I want to make sure that they're actually properly being responsible for my money. Unfortunately, the regulation is always in the opposite direction, where they don't regulate the companies enough, but they make the user go through hell. And BitMax is dealing with their own CFTCs going after them, and we'll see how that one ends. I heard they have some of the best lawyers in the world, and they're fighting it to keep their system alive. What is your view on the regulatory landscape, and what is the plan? Do you guys have any concerns, or is it going to be like a Napster? The regulator is going to take down the big boy, and then it'll be better for everyone else.
In my opinion, I think we are heading to the direction, especially for the exchange, are going to be getting more regulated. I mean, I've walked through that road in Forex. Back in the days when I first started Forex, I think it was a little bit unregulated, but it took them a few years, I think almost 10 years, to really start focusing on cracking down on Forex, retail Forex, and put a lot of regulations. So by the end of that 10-year stretch, my previous firm, we had 16 regulations, 16 licenses from different countries, including the USA and Japan and all that. So if we want to get into one market, we'll have to apply the license. So I would assume that it would happen within crypto as well, but just much faster. Yeah. So so frankly, as an exchange, when the regulation comes, is really the call that do you want to market there? When let's say Singapore is offering a derivative exchange license, if you want to take the clients, you have to do the proper way. So we
are you able to take Singaporean clients now?
Right now, the regulatory is very unclear on derivative trading or margin trading for Singapore. So we ban the Singaporean IP.
Okay, so you're banning Singapore.
Because our headquarters here, we want to be respect to the local authority. So until we get proper instructions, we're not going to open the IP restriction, all that. So yeah, I mean, Singapore is one of the countries we ban. Also, USA, and recently Hong Kong, because they just released a statement. So we actually started banning the Hong Kong IPs.
Wow, interesting.
Since I think last week.
What about Canada?
Canada, the Quebec region. The Quebec region.
There's the Quebec region.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. So some parts of Canada are banned, but not other parts of Canada.
Yeah.
Wow, that is interesting.
Actually, this is the suggestion from the lawyers. So I'm not exactly sure why it's that way. Maybe it has to do something with the U.S.
That is very interesting. And your lawyers, are they from different countries, or your lawyers are, what region is their specialty?
We work with our main legal advisory is from Hong Kong. So, but they work with a lot of crypto projects. So they are very, especially on the STO front and all these things. So they are quite familiar with what's the legal structure globally.
So what is your biggest trading market? Is it China, Russia? You guys allow China?
Yep, we allow China. I mean, right now, biggest is still Europe. So we're very big.
Most of Europe is okay.
Yeah, most of Europe is okay so far. And we are very big in Korea and China. Also, we got some clients in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Korea. Yeah, Korea is a pretty hot market for. Well, BitThumb is out of Korea, correct? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about them as well over the last couple of years. So they've been doing well.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I think they're also trying to get the global reach. I think coming out of Korea, and I think they're also here in Singapore this week.
Do you have a lot in Russia, Ukraine area?
We are trying to get into. So we just put on the Russian UI, and we're trying to work with a few big software providers there. Tiger Terminal is one of them. To help us open up the market there. Yeah,
I haven't done my videos in Russian in a while.
Yeah.
I do speak Russian. I usually do a video on another YouTube channel. I don't do Russian videos on my channel, but I am a guest on other Russian channels as well. I haven't been to Moscow in a while, but I do like going to the Ukraine region.
No, I think it's a very big market, especially based on Forex. A lot of traders there, so it must be a huge market for leverage trading and margin trading in crypto. Yeah.
All right. So let's move on with another question. So what do you guys want to do? So what innovation do you want to do next? I know Deribit has everything locked down in the option space. What's more? Are you looking to add more coins? Though I actually wanted to ask a little more about the Ripple side of things. So right now you have 4 currency pairs.
Yeah.
Are you looking to add more? Wait a minute, you didn't say Litecoin.
We don't have Litecoin.
You don't have Litecoin?
No.
Oh, why not?
I guess it's just we couldn't find, for us to release a new product, it's quite simple. It takes a week basically. But the hardest part is always to find the initial liquidity providers and market makers to make sure the liquidity is good. So
Litecoin is now losing to Ripple and EOS.
And also because our client distribution. So EOS is so popular in China, and our Chinese client is demanding for that product. So we put that on. And for Ripple, it's more Japan and Korea. They love Ripple, and Korea is such a country for Ripple leverage trading. Korea, yeah. So we have so many people trading on Ripple in Korea.
So let me ask you this then. So let's talk about Ripple. So Ripple is coming out of Korea. And do you actually think the people in Korea believe in the long-term prospect of Ripple, or are they trading it to get more Bitcoin or their own local currency? Is it more of a job for them, or do they actually believe in Ripple? Like, for example, if I was trading Bitcoin, I still believe in Bitcoin. I want to hold on to as much Bitcoin as I can, whether I'm trading Bitcoin or Ripple or Litecoin or Ethereum. my goal is to end up with more Bitcoin.
Right.
Do you think these Ripple traders are trying to end up with more Ripple, or are they just trading it to make more wealth?
I think in general, the clients on ByBit are trading it to make more wealth, either switching it to a stable coin after they make the profit, or they switch to Bitcoin and then they withdraw it.
Oh, okay, so they do understand that holding on to Ripple is a bad idea.
I think they love the volatility in Ripple and all these movement in Ripple, so they think it's a good instrument.
But all your pairs are versus the dollar. You don't have like Bitcoin versus Ethereum pair.
No, we don't have it.
Okay.
But we offer a coin swap. So once they trade in Ripple or EOS, and then they can swap it back to Bitcoin.
Okay.
So we've seen
but you don't have market making in the Bitcoin to Ethereum pair.
No, we don't have that. We don't have that pair. No.
Yeah, because I remember it was I think back in the heyday of Poloniex and what was it, Bittrex and Cryptsy before that. All of these, crypto traders that learned to trade through the crypto space, they fell in love with, the Bitcoin Ethereum pair and the Litecoin Ethereum pair and all of these like cross pairs. And then I remember, and then some of them decided to trade like traditional markets, and they're like, how come there's no Amazon stock to Google stock pair?
Right.
They got like it was like weird to them. Like no, that's not how reality works.
So back to the product front, we are going to release a linear contract, like I said, with USDT, but it's going to be a portfolio margin, so you can actually utilize all your margins and even unrealized P&L to trade other pairs at the same time. So this time, no more swapping. You just USDT to trade all pairs. And on top of it, we are going to release the function to able to hedge your positions. So you know how BitMax and ByBit now is all your positions are merged. But we want to make it long and short so you can actually hedge them. And when you hedge them, maybe you will release some of the margin out, and then you can use that margin to trade again other pairs. So these are the things we're working on, hopefully to launch it by next year, January.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, these pairs, Ethereum dollar, Ripple dollar, EOS dollar.
Yeah.
So you actually have to store in cold storage, EOS, Ripple, and Ethereum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that probably complicates the withdrawals because people want to withdraw these things as well.
Yeah. So it's quite a complicated procedure. Yeah.
And do you use so here's a question. Are you guys running your own Ethereum node?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Yeah.
So you have a full Ethereum node with the full history.
Yeah.
How difficult was that to set up?
I'm not the tech guy, but I think it was pretty difficult. I think it was pretty difficult.
All right, I would love for you to get back to me on that.
This was one of the reasons actually we're not adding more coins, because
you can't run a full node.
Yeah, we need to run a full node, and it literally, because it's so hectic, the withdrawal procedure is a nightmare. So right now it takes literally an hour for the withdrawal manually, and I'm like, dude, we cannot add more coins because the procedure is so complicated.
Yeah, well, hold on to that Ethereum node. You may be one of the last dozen nodes left, because if you were to do it like in a year or two from now, you will have a huge difficulty syncing that node.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how anyone runs a full Ripple node. The first 32,000 blocks are missing in the Ripple node.
Yeah.
So are you guys a Ripple node as well? Don't you have to like pay a ridiculous amount of money to be a Ripple node?
For that, I'm not too sure, actually. I need to talk to the CTO about that.
Yeah, and the same thing with EOS. Yeah, so I'm curious. Yeah, if we do another interview, I'd love to get your CTO on. He would know better on this angle, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to do the next interview with the CTO, so we can talk about this, because I actually am curious about how you are keeping track of the entire history of these altcoins, because that's been one of my biggest arguments, and why I don't believe in the world of a million altcoins, because I don't trust them. I run my own Bitcoin node. And I can't do that with any other coin. Like I wouldn't, like it's just a nightmare. I'm not even gonna try to download the Ethereum node. I've read enough horror stories from people way smarter than me trying to sync an Ethereum node, and like I'm not even gonna try.
Right.
But people had a good laugh watching me set up a miner, and they're like, "Tone's about to get electrocuted," which probably should have happened the way I was trying to set up my miner. But no, that part is definitely interesting to me. All right, let's see. I had more questions, but yeah. So any other innovations on the horizon that you guys want to do? Any besides new coins, new products, or would you want to enter the traditional space? You have experience in traditional FX.
Yeah.
Would you want to go into the FX space? I know the regulation is probably like this, but you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Is that something you may offer one day through ByBit? Go into the traditional market instead of waiting for the traditional FX brokers to eat the crypto space.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a competent company in the crypto space to start taking chunks out of the traditional exchanges.
Yeah, no, I agree with completely. So I believe mass adoption can happen this way or it can happen backwards. So if we can offer a product to the traditional guys and say, hey, this one, we actually offer very good liquidity and very good product, you can try us out. It would help with mass adoption of crypto as well. So one of the things we will be focusing on next year is the new market. Right now, we're focusing all of our operation on existing markets, so existing client pools. So when we focus on that, actually, I'm talking to MetaQuote, trying to set up a MT4 and MT5 connected directly to ByBit. We can offer the retail clients who are very used to MT4, MT5 to trade perpetual contract on the terminals there. And this is one of the biggest challenge I had when I look into crypto, is that I'm very used to using MT4, MT5 to trade. And all these EA advisor automated trading bots and all that is very useful and very handy. But when you're moving to crypto, everything is done on the web portal. So that's the difficulty part, I think, especially for retail clients. So this is something we want to look into, and hopefully by next year we'll make something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So a few people came late, but I think this is a good. I think maybe we'll have you repeat it. So people are asking how you gained liquidity so quick, and I know you mentioned it earlier in the show, but now that we have a lot more viewers, maybe you can like repeat that one more time.
Oh yeah. So in the very beginning, liquidity was definitely one of the major issues we had. So we had 5 seats for designated market makers, and when we created sort of a competing environment for the market makers to compete for these seats, once they are sitting on these seats, they get a monthly reimbursement or a rebate by fulfilling duties. So they will give us a certain, we require them within certain spread, and they have to give us how much liquidity between the spread, 80% or 85% of the time. And then we will judge them on the monthly metrics. And if they're out or they've been outperformed by another market maker, we will inform them ahead. So their spot has been taken away, with the rebate is being paid to another guy. So we actually talked to many guys in a very early stage. I mean, all the big players now, Jam Trading, Tower Research, all these guys, we communicate to them in a very early stage to help us with liquidity. Yeah.
Perfect. And it's funny, someone is asking a question, and that was my last question that I had on my list. You were able to build this company. You thought about doing it in 2017. It launched at the end of 2018. And you're able to do this without an ICO. You're able to do it without an internal token.
No.
I respect that a lot, because the one company I criticize all the time is Binance. And I always felt that Binance had a very scammy competitive advantage by printing $1 billion out of thin air, creating a token, and convincing people that the token is somehow needed inside their own exchange. Yet for the last 300 years, exchanges managed to do this without an internal token to give you a discount on fees.
Right.
So I don't expect you to talk bad about exchanges, other exchanges, your competitors, but you have to feel that Binance has an unfair advantage in the space because of what they did that you guys didn't do, and the regulators aren't doing anything about it.
Right. So I mean, whether the platform token is a security or not, or utility, I think you might have to. We'll see in the future how it goes. We just simply don't want to take on that risk, because for me, it's a very uncertainty. I know how to run a proper exchange in the traditional sense. I know it will work as long as you focus on the fundamentals. I mean, a lot of people ask me, what does ByBit bring new to the table? We're not bringing transaction and mining and all these new concepts. For me, I agree with you completely. Exchange has been around for so many years. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. What crypto need is exchange that actually does the fundamental good. Good execution due to volatility, good customer support. And so we currently we don't even have the fundamentals right. So I just want to build exchange that will deliver actually what traders want, and we want to get rid of the noise. So for me, a token, I have to spend so much time doing research on how would this token build into the exchange. I feel like I have to make up some stuff for the token to work.
Well,
so
yeah, you're making your exchange more complicated to stick a token in.
Yeah.
But if the token pumps, you're a billionaire.
Yeah. So for us, for me, it was just uncertainty of token. For me, it's an area I'm not familiar with, so we didn't go with that route at all. I mean, we didn't consider it in the very beginning until now. I mean, even now we don't consider it.
No, and customer support is huge. I mean, I'm seeing your office; it's mostly customer support, and like you said, you have to cover the whole world.
Yeah.
So you have people working in 3 shifts.
Yep. Yeah. 24/7.
24/7 support from the office.
We know. Actually, I read the story saying that a regular crypto trader has 7 times more pressure than a regular traditional trader, because you don't get any holidays. You don't get the days off in the weekend, Christmas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was saying
it's a blessing and a curse.
Exchange is the same. Exchange is the same, and it's so funny. Within a past few months, all these big pump or dump is happening during the weekend. So I mean, you have to have support. Be ready all the time, and even as exchange, you need to be ready to not fuck up all the time.
No, absolutely.
So,
and we've seen several exchanges fuck up recently. No, it's been great. Anything you want to add? Oh, actually, no. I was gonna finally do screen share. Okay. Normally, these interviews have a lot of screen share involved. Not on this one. Let me go to full screen here. What am I missing? Boom, there it is. And yeah, guys, if you are interested, if you go to ToneVase, the affiliate section, tonevase.com affiliates, ByBit is right there. You can go ahead and click on that link. There will be one more screen that I understand the risks, and that will take you over to
you're Singapore. You use the Singapore.
I'm in Singapore, so I can't register. I am sitting in Singapore, so good job on the IP ban. But yes, if you are in a jurisdiction that is allowed, and do you have a list of allowable jurisdictions?
Yeah, it's in our terms and contracts.
In your terms of service. Okay. So check out ByBit's terms of service, so you know if you are allowed to trade there or not. Clearly, I cannot, being here in Singapore, and go ahead and check it out, and that's how you can go ahead and get over there.
Actually, lastly, I would just like to add, we are launching a huge global competition.
I forgot to talk about that.
Please. It's a sort of a team style. We combined our global partners, basically influencers or any sort of KOLs from China, Japan, Korea, global. We're expecting more than 100 teams participating.
How many people are on a team?
Minimum is 10. So there's minimum no ceiling.
People.
Yeah. And then we calculate the top 10 players in your team as the team P&L. And then the prize will be up to 100 BTC. And so it will be a huge competition.
Is there a maximum to the number of team players? Maximum to a team?
I think we have a ceiling, maybe 300 or 400. I'm not too sure. I need to check the details.
But you don't use all the team members, only the top 10?
Only the top 10 players in the team.
But then doesn't a bigger team have a competitive advantage over a smaller team?
Theoretically speaking, yes, because you will have higher chances of winning if you have a bigger team.
Oh, so it encourages people to bring more people into their team to trade more. Interesting. And do they trade with real money or play money?
Bitcoin. The participation minimum deposit 0.05 BTC.
0.05. So
Yeah.
it's not testnet Bitcoin.
No,
It's real Bitcoin.
Real, yeah.
And but there's a minimum. So the competition winner is by percentage, not by.
It's by the team average. So you have a team winner, the number one team. Everyone in the team, even the losing ones, are in the team are sharing the prizes. So
No,
yeah.
but the winner is whoever had the best returns by percentage, or
By percentage.
By percentage. So
Right.
so let's say if I put together a team of we said the minimum was what,
10 people.
Right.
10 people,
So
yeah.
if I put together a team of 20,
Right.
and then someone else puts together a team of 100,
Right.
And the total Bitcoin in my pool of 20 is 1 Bitcoin,
Right.
and the total the total Bitcoin in their pool is 20 Bitcoin.
Right. No, it's the
It's by
growth, by the percentage.
by the
growth.
percent growth. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
not everyone starts with the same amount. Each team can start with any
different amount, and we take a screenshot exactly on the
Mhm.
starting time, and then we compare the percentage gain.
And how
Yeah.
long does the competition run?
15 days.
15 days.
You are right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can trade anything on the platform,
Only
or
BTC.
only BTC
Yeah.
versus USD. Okay.
BTC USD. Yeah.
So they trade BTC USD. That's pretty cool. And you've ran
Yeah.
this before.
We actually run 4 different competitions before to make this one ready. So this one is going to be the biggest one, the global one. Our previous one, we had a Twitter one, we had a Japanese one, Chinese one, a Korean one. Each one had about 1,000 people.
And this is the global one.
And this is the global one, with much bigger prizes and also bigger participation rate. And we are offering a 20% discount on fees. We've never done that before. So
During the competition.
Yeah. So by simply participating in the game or the competition, you get a 20% off. So it makes sense for any active traders on ByBit to simply participate. And even if just to get the 20% off.
Oh, okay. So and they all get to keep the Bitcoin that they trade.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Okay. But then you just look at their returns.
Yeah.
And they don't need to create new accounts. They can just use their accounts
Yep.
in the competition,
Yep.
and they get the discount for the fees.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are a ByBit trader, if you join a team and you enter a competition, you would get a discount on fees during the 15 days of trading.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, nice. You guys have like a million incentives for
and
people to
I
enter
gave
this
some
competition.
bonus and all that, but we also want to give exposure to the team leaders so they can actually put their social media channels on there to let their team player knows that, help them to teach them how to trade and all that. So it's starting on the 18th. Registration starts on the 18th of November.
All right. Hey, you guys got time. And again, the link to register is in the video description. All right, guys. Let me see if there is any. You guys have. Your uptime has been incredibly good since your launch.
Yeah. Actually,
on the exchange.
we spend a lot of energy to make sure we have no server downtime. So we don't have any server downtime maintenance. All of our updates are done through hot patch and grid release. So sometimes we have to spend extra days to make sure that we're going through this route to make sure there's no downtime, because crypto is no downtime.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for me. Hey guys, Ben's info is in the video description, along with any of the links. And if you are on ByBit, you will see the entry into the competition. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
I know people want me to do a little bit of market analysis. Let me do that. You don't trade yourself, correct?
I'm long-time holder. If I trade, is very long-term. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want the CEO of your exchange to be trading. Again, this is a knock on a lot of them. You want them busy at work and not. You want them making sure that you're able to trade with 100% uptime instead of trading. I'm curious at what the price of Bitcoin's been doing. So here's the weekly chart of the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has not. Oh, we dropped a little bit there. We are down to 87.50. Looks like we did drop. This is not the best looking weekly candle. Today is only Monday, right? Today's Monday?
Tuesday.
Today's already Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happens when you're on too many airplanes. So the week is still to go. I'm going to leave this green line here, but this is not looking great. The weekly chart to me is on a pullback. And if this pullback lasts another candle, this could go back to the $8,000 area and potentially lower. The weekly chart is totally neutral to me with a slight bearish lean. The daily chart is on a red 6 of 9 using the sequential system. And you do have support right here at the $8,500 area. And if Bitcoin does make it to that $8,500 area in the next 3 days, that could be a potential buying opportunity. So I will wait on that. So right now, I would not be entering any bullish trades for sure, and neither would I be entering any bearish trades. To me, the daily chart is certainly in a bearish posture, and I'm not going to draw this parallel channel, but it's certainly looking like it's going down. I'll glance at the Ethereum pair, and Ethereum is holding up fairly well, and gold and silver have been taking a big hit and consolidating now, but this is not a good sign for gold. I think it does have more downside to go. Same for silver, not a good looking candle here. And you have support at the moving averages, but maybe not for long. The S&P 500 is consolidating, and let's see what happens here. This consolidation is generally bullish, and I would still remain bullish of the S&P 500, even though many stocks are toppy. This consolidation is good. We can consolidate into year end. The stock market can certainly break out. All right, guys, I will go ahead and leave you here. Please check out the affiliate page once again if you want to support this content. And I'll have a lot more announcements coming up in the next show, probably tomorrow or the next day. I'll try to find some really nice backgrounds while here in Singapore, which has plenty to choose from. Once again, Ben, CEO of ByBit, thank you so much for having me at the office and checking out the operation. And we're going to get some steaks later, right?
All right, sounds good.
Can't wait. Yeah. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.